Morning all, this is Chronicles here, and I'm your host Simon Rushton. I'd just like to share this conversation I had with a guy, and he was telling me how he needs to get a divorce. He's saying he's not happy in his relationship. He says he came from overseas and he prefers not to live in England and he's not happy, and just that the woman that he's married to is different. He never managed to live with her until he came over here. But when you start to delve in his story, it's a bit of a cliche story. He comes from the Caribbean and he lives in a tourist area in one of the many islands in the Caribbean. And what he's done, he's found a British woman and he's told her sweet nothings when she's on holiday. And now she wants to marry him. Well, they ended up getting married. And he did say he didn't like to fly. But he ended up in England. Now he said he's going to go leave her and go on to another woman of another race, let's say. And but then he really wants to go home. So I said to him, well, have you considered that you've gone to stay with this woman and apart from having a job, you're not really bringing anything to the table? And, women like security. We all have mothers and sisters and aunts and female loved ones, and you'd want them to be with a man who can make them feel comfortable. And then this is no way saying that a woman can't look after herself, but as a man, it's nice to be able to look after the one you love in that respect. And he's saying, well, yeah, I have a job and all these things. So when I broke down that, I understand where he's coming from, in the sense of, you marry someone because you want to get to England and etc. He started to laugh. So basically I was showing his cards that he's trying to hide under the table and saying, I know what cards you've got, I know how this game is played. So he kind of started to ease back and chill out and everything along those lines. But the thing I was saying to him is that you've got to have some ambition. And I don't mean just to be in a job. Because he felt the fact that he had held down a job for 2 years is a good thing. Well, it's good, but just for anybody holding down a job, that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to be able to hold down a job and have employment and all that kind of thing. But if your woman's got a better job than you, that may be deemed or larger income, you've got to have some aspirations to be doing better, because as men, it's like an attack. And it's nothing the woman is doing wrong. She has every right to excel and to try and improve her lifestyle and stuff. But as a man, you want to be that one step ahead, or at least 10 steps ahead, depending on who you are, and that kind of thing. And if you're not that, then after a while, that holiday romance starts to drift away, because you never had a chance to really see the person. You're Skype or FaceTiming or WhatsApp calls or what have you, and now you're actually in that vicinity, especially when you're locked down. But the funny thing was, this guy decided to work nights. That way he doesn't have to see his wife most of the time, because he can sleep in the day when she's up, so he's in the room, and then he go to work thing. But I said to him, if you're not that happy, why don't you just go home? And then I asked him a question, a bit like interview question. I said, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And he turned around and said to me, I see myself back home on the island, enjoying life, living, and all that kind of thing. So I said, well, that's all very fair enough. But considering you said you didn't like to fly, and you're a grown man, because he actually blamed her for him marrying her. I said, no, come on now. I said, you're not talking to another woman. You're talking man to man. And man to man, you clearly decided, you told her sweet nothings. She put a ring on your finger. or provide you with a place to stay and all these things, and now you're bitching about it because it's not as hunky-dory as you like to. But I said, when I was living in Kenya, we had a term for those kind of guys, and they were called beach boys. Boys who loiter around on the beach, are very energetic and young and handsome, and they've got 8-pack and pecs, and then they just prime. It's like they're hyenas or predators, you could say, and take on these women. Now, don't get me wrong, these women are not victims. They're not victims at all, because they go to these islands and these tropical places in the world and they know what they're looking for. But my point is the fact that the man was actually complaining. I found that amazing. And he was a really nice guy. We laughed and joked about it and everything. But I just thought I'd share that because it seemed like an interesting story. And yeah, it's just like, I said to him, you got to look at it like this. You're in this predicament now, and you've got opportunities that a lot of people would die for. You're in, one of the wealthiest cities or countries in the world, and you've got every opportunity, apart from obviously the quarantine situation, to improve your lifestyle and help your kids back home where you come from. So you want to make that everything you can. And I said to him, there's two kind of immigrants. You've got the economical immigrants who just want to improve their lifestyle, and you've got the people who actually asylum, let's say, seekers, who actually come from war-torn countries. And the asylum seekers, I have every mode of time for them, because they usually make the most of their circumstances. They start businesses, they do this, they do that, they really improve their lifestyle and stuff. Well, and the other people, then not, you get good ones, you get bad ones and everything, I should say. But I said to him, make the most of your situation, because when you go home in that respect. But I thought I'd just share that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, or leave your comments. I believe this will be a controversial episode, I should say. Also, check out our Africa Investing Stories podcasts on our sister channel. It's very good. It's interesting stories about people who've invested in Africa and their experiences from all walks of life. Feel free to like and subscribe on that, and I look forward to giving out the next episode. Peace and love out.